Look at that water coming through the window. Could you imagine if that was on the inside of your house? Is there anything that can protect our house by keeping the water outside during heavy rain or flood? Here we have Flex Seal's newest product, and this of course is their flood protection line. This is their starter kit, so you actually get a lot of things in this kit. I think it retails for right around $50. This product was sent to me for review, so I'm excited to try it out. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at yet another Flex product, and this is their Flex flood line. Hopefully we can stop that water coming in through our, well, at least windows in this video. You know what? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. I've been a fan of the Flex Seal company for years, and I think they're actually a cool company. This is the first item they've ever sent me to review, so let's do a quick unboxing. Inside the package, we actually have a caulking gun. They put their sticker on it. And then I also have a bag that has 2 sets of latex gloves. I have a paintbrush, also this device to be able to spread out the paste if you need to. They also have a 10-ounce tub or little bottle of their Flex Flood liquid. They also have 9 ounces of their Flex paste that's in this tube. We also don't want to forget that it came with instructions. Of course, we're going to apply this to some windows to see if we can really weatherproof them. First things first, we have to unscrew the cap here. We're going to cut this part right here just so the liquid will be able to flow through, and we'll also cut the cap right here at a 45-degree angle to allow us to apply the product. I should say, when you're doing this, you're supposed to let it cure for between 2 and 6 hours before you can apply any other product or reapply, and then it needs to be set for 24 to 48 hours to fully cure. So this is not meant for like flash floods. It's meant for, hey, this is coming in a week or so, get your product out. I've used a lot of the Flex product in the past, and the biggest thing I would say is you cannot remove that stuff or cannot remove it very easily. So I'm wondering how that's going to work, because they say this can remove really easy. Let's start the application process, and then maybe in a week or so we'll try removing it. So we're just going to cut off the tip here. It did take a little effort, and I tried cleaning up as much of the edges as I could, but that's what it should look like when you cut the tip off. Now we're going to cut the cap. I always cut mine at a 45-degree angle, and that cut much easier. There we go. So now that is ready to go. So we're going to reapply this back onto the paste bottle, put it into our caulking gun, and set us up. Now, as you remember from earlier, I did say the kit came with some gloves and a caulk spreading tool. I'm going to use the gloves because you're supposed to use the gloves, but I'm also going to use the gloves to spread the paste and not use that tool. Other people might like that. I just think it's easier to spread it with the finger there, but make sure you wear protective equipment and don't get this on your clothes. If I had to guess, these gloves are a size large. They did fit me, but typically I use XL, but you know what? I appreciate them even including them. So we filled up these windows with some water, and as you can see, it's just flowing out of every crack or hole that's there. In a matter of minutes, all this water will be gone. Here we are under the windows, and this is not really any pressure. It's just the water in the window itself, and it's just pouring out. You get virtually no protection from the windows, even if they're sealed shut. So these windows were left outside last night, so there was a bit of dew on them. I made sure to dry it off. You're supposed to prep the entire area, wiping it down, making sure it's dry. Now I'm actually going to apply the paste right here where the glass meets the window frame right here. Also where the actual window meets the frame right here. So 2 spots. There's also some screws here from where these windows were installed before and now are, of course, not installed. So I'm going to apply the paste there as well. And then, of course, down the bottom all the way around. I'm told you get 21 linear feet with this paste. So let's start the process. All right, so we're going to, a few pulls of the trigger here to try to get the product to come up through. Let's see. Oh, there it goes. All right, we are ready. All right, so I'm really just going to focus on the bottom half here and putting a little less than a 1/4 inch of a bead all the way down. Right to the bottom. What I think I'm going to do is I'm also going to get the inner part right here as well. All the way to the bottom. We're going to do the same thing down here on this end, all the way down. So we've covered the glass. Now the bottom here of the window, it did get a little gloopy there, so try to control it as best you can. Now for the final side. This is just against the glass. And then, of course, down the window itself. We don't want to forget the screws that are there on either side. Make sure you get that real good. Now we're going to use our gloved hand, just making sure this gets into that area and smoothed in. All the crevices are covered. Do that all the way around. All right, so I feel pretty confident with the coverage that I have. I've gotten all the areas I think a leak could be. So what I'm gonna do is the cure time here is now between 2 and 6 hours. So I'm gonna let this sit for 6. My current temperature right now at 8:30 a.m. is 50 degrees. It's supposed to get up into the 70s. This should be fine. So I had originally set out 2 windows because I was gonna have a control window and a test window. But since we already saw what happened with the test, they both just leaked out. I have 2 windows now because I'm doing 2 different tests. The one on the right, I did everything like you're supposed to. I cleaned the window, I dried the window, I applied the paste. Wonderful. This window on the left, I did not take my time. I applied the product like I was in a hurry. The window was wet, the window was dirty, and as I was applying the paste, you could actually tell a difference. It just slid down the window. Not to mention when I went to go smooth it out, I just had a lot of the product slide right out and I did not get an even application, so that does worry me. I am gonna apply the paint later at the same time I do it with the first window. We're gonna still see how this product works. I haven't figured out how you're supposed to end this product, but with other Flex products, I've just put a little glob on the top and let that dry, and typically you're allowed to peel that off later and keep going. Let's see if that does that for this as well. I wanted to do a 3-hour check-in, and as you can see, this is dry to the touch. There are a few spots where maybe it's a little tacky, and that's just because it's thicker, but for the most part, this is dry and probably could be painted over. Now, I'm still gonna wait the full 6 hours, but I wanna let you know after 3, mine's dry. It has officially been 6 hours. This stuff should be fully cured. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the Flex Seal Flood Protection Liquid and paint at least a 2-inch border all the way around, trying to connect all the different things, but the directions do tell you you have to have at least 2 inches. Let's start painting. Here goes nothing. Well, I will tell you, that's a little weird to paint because you're definitely hitting the paste that you put on earlier, so it's not moving very well. Make sure I get more on my brush, try not to spill all over the window. All right, so that's better. The more product, the better off you are. So I'm actually just doing about 2 inches total is what the directions tell you, minimum actually. So I'm gonna be painting, connecting all these pieces together. Tell you what, you really do have to lay this stuff on thick to get it to cover. Otherwise, it's very light. I was reading through the directions, and the directions actually states that the flood products build upon each other. So as we're painting this product over top of the other product, the paste, it's actually building on it and making it stronger. That's pretty cool. We just finished brushing on the Flex Flood Protection Liquid on both windows. I will say I used about half the container, so 5 ounces did about 2 windows with 1 coat. I don't think I'm gonna have to do another coat, so now we're just gonna let this dry. I do think it's cool how it bonds and makes it almost like one solid piece. Directions do tell you if you have wooden panes like this, you're actually supposed to brush the individual parts of the panes as well and not just the entire part around. What I'm doing here, I'm not really treating this window. I just wanted to show you, this is thick enough where it does not slide down, but also thin enough where you can brush it. So it's officially been 48 hours and this is no longer tacky. I actually checked in at the 24-hour mark and it was still tacky, so I'm glad I waited the full 48 hours. I will say over the last 2 days, this sure has attracted a lot of bugs and dirt and all sorts of things, so this will be fun. Let's fill this window up with some water. Let the flood begin. So, tell me, what are your thoughts of this Flex Flood products, at least the 2 that we're using here? Something you're interested in, maybe not? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. It does not appear to be leaking underneath the window. Wow, is that really holding? How cool. It's even holding with the window that I had to rush through and didn't do such a great job. So I'm gonna leave the water in here for the next couple of days. We'll see how long it lasts. So our water's been in here for 5 days, so I do think that's probably long enough for proof of concept. It worked. So it's definitely accumulated a lot of pollen and other dirt. So we're gonna dump this out, let it dry up, and try to peel this stuff off. All right, so I just rinsed this off just so it wasn't so nasty. I'm just seeing if I can peel this off. It looks like it wants to peel off, but maybe I'll let this dry to see if I can get it to peel off in one piece. Let me let it sit here for an hour or so. All right, so this is where we tried peeling it up before. Well, let's see if I can get in here where the bead of the paste was put in. All right, looks like I can peel that up just a little, but I want it to come up as one big piece. Let's see. Looks like it wants to come up. Maybe I have to take this off in pieces. So this is interesting. This top part felt like it was almost tacky. This has been set, over 8 days ago. But as I'm starting to wipe this down just with the paper towel, it's looking like it's starting to build up to a spot where maybe I can start to peel it. Oh yeah, look at that. That is cool. Let's see if I can get a big piece out of this though. Wow, do you see that? How neat. All right, I think we're getting this now as finally as all one big piece. It looks like some of the rubberized paste got actually in between the window and the sill or the jamb because I'm having trouble getting part of that out. I'll have to probably work on that a little later, but I did get a big piece of this to come up. Let's watch this. Cool. Make sure we can catch this piece up with it. For the most part, it's coming off. I do see some sticking behind I might have to work on, but I am impressed. It does peel up. Say, when you get a good grip on it and you have a hold on the product, getting the rubberized paste is actually pretty easy to get out. Right here, it's just plastic on plastic, so it's a little easier. On the edges where there's that filament that's almost like a barrier for wind or bugs, that's a little more challenging to get out. Down here at the bottom, it's really easy. Here's that filament part I was talking about. It's almost like a weather stripping or a spot to keep bugs out where some of the rubber paste actually got connected to it still. So I took the sash out just to show you that. You can get it out, but it takes just a little more effort. Still comes off, but I had to take the sash out in order to do that. I found that there's some stubborn parts to this, so I've actually gotten like a blade to try to help me get that off. You can see it actually looks like it's still wet even after almost a week, but I'm just using a blade to help me get this part off. Maybe I can get it to a big enough piece where I can pull it again, but you might have to use something extra to help you out. I tell you what, using the scraper made light work of getting off the flood protection product. I'm wondering if in the future Flex Seal might just include a razor like this to help you with cleanup because it does make a quick and easy job. In this video, we are looking at the Flex Flood Starter Pack, and well, what do I think of it? First things first, it retails for right around $50, and for what you get in there, you get the caulking gun, you get the rubberized paste, you get the paint, you get a paintbrush, you get a rubberized paste spreader, and you even get some gloves. I think they thought of a lot of things to make it more convenient for their customers. What do I think about the application of this product? In my opinion, it was pretty easy. It's just a little bit of a time-consuming effort that you have to put in. And then it took about 30 minutes per window, but that was over a 24-hour period because you had to stop and let it cure and then reapply and let that cure. And of course, the final coat had to cure for about 2 days prior to any flood or water being added. I was really impressed that it did exactly what it was supposed to do. This was not a flood under pressure, and they actually say that this does not help against flash floods, and so my thought is it's the quick part and the water moving very, very fast, but it did protect and keep water out over almost an entire week before we stopped the test. I want to talk a little bit to the removal of the product. In the commercials that you see, they peel it off really, really easily. And did I experience that? Yeah. Parts of the things I did experience. I also think it matters about the product that you're peeling off of. It comes off pretty easily on plastic and glass. There were parts where I had to use a scraper or a razor to help get that off, and so that's just something I want to make sure you note. On average, it took me about an hour to remove all of the Flex Flood product before the window was completely clean. I will be continuing to do tests on the Flex Flood products, but I'd be interested to know, what would you want to see? Leave me a comment down in the comment section below. You want to see on different materials, you want to see different tests, let me know and I'll see if I can work it into a future video. Anyway, that was my full review of the Flex Flood Starter Pack. If this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by and I hope you have a great day. I did want to follow up. After about a day or two, this did turn into hard rubber here on the top, and so my thoughts are you just pop this out and you can start with the product all over again because right underneath it, it's still wet. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the Flex Flood Starter Pack. You know what? When I was doing this review, I was thinking about not that long ago, I actually reviewed their Flex Super Glue, which is also a newer product. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link that review right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right here. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.